That's
All right,
awesome.
Grasshoppers. Survivors,
Morning.
Elaine Stout fans, Stott fans.
She just called me Elaine Stout. Elaine Stout. It's that Canadian accent. I understand.
That's your name in Canadian, yes. All right, guys. As promised, well, we were going to go every Thursday, but of course, we have to, as usual, my relationship here with Elaine, we have to go on her schedule. It's whatever she wants. So she was traveling yesterday, and so now we had to push it to Friday. So I just sat around all day yesterday, waited for Elaine.
Yeah, waiting for me. I was tired. I was so wore out. I went to North Carolina, so I was wore out.
You're so tough, and then you say stuff like, "Oh, I'm tired. I'm tired." What were you doing in North Carolina?
I went to Johnny Fairplay's viewing party or whatever and met some fans and stuff. It was cool, though.
Good.
Johnny gets a lot of crap. I actually like Johnny Fairplay.
Which one was he? Did he say that with his grandmother died?
Grandma lie.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Yeah. He's not a bad guy. I mean, he fed me Bud Light, so he's cool with me, you know.
Is that your beer, Bud Light? You like Bud Light?
Well, any kind of light beer, Coors Light, Miller Light, Michelob Ultra Light.
Yeah.
They try to give me a lager, and I was like, what are you trying to feed me? Like, what is this? I can't drink, like, it's weird beer to me. I don't know. I'm a redneck. Just give me something. I mean, I don't go full on redneck. I don't drink Budweiser.
Yeah.
But
it's gonna be cold, right? It's gonna be cold.
Yeah, as long as it's cold. But I can't drink this. I can't drink city beer. I don't know what it is. Like, what's
craft beer and all that stuff? Yeah. No. I had a couple of bottles of the virus last night. I had a couple of Coronas.
Now I can drink Corona. Coronas are good. But what a Pilsner, is it called a Pilsner?
Pilsner.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Oh yeah,
I don't like it. It tastes weird. It tastes different. If you put a bunch of limes in it, then it kind of tastes like a Corona, and I can drink it. But no, we were at some brewery though, and they got fancy pants.
That's where they had the viewing party.
Yeah, and I can't do fancy pants.
So what? It's probably all a big act. You probably walk around there like all dressed up in dresses and everything like that.
Yeah, I did my hair. I mean, I did have makeup on for the first time at the finale. That's the first time in 30 years.
Wow.
Boy, they touched them eyes up. And I just don't do stuff like that, man. It was it's strange.
I put powder on my face too. There wasn't enough powder for my forehead there, so.
Yeah, they just try to tone that glare down because sometimes
they came in with a big spray paint thing that is sprayed now. So, all right. Yeah. So what are you thinking of this season of finale then?
No, it's pretty good.
Survivor Story, I said finale.
Finale, yeah. I got you distracted. No, the season's pretty good so far. It's really entertaining. I enjoy watching it.
It's pretty good. Pretty interesting, right? Like how you'd be, now that we've played the game, how you'd be thinking you're playing all the other people that have won, like Sandra's won twice and everything,
Yeah.
I keep watching that thinking like, wow, wouldn't you get her off right away? But I guess the danger is right that you try to get it done and then somebody turns on you.
Yeah, that's the thing is as soon as you say one of those big dogs' names, like they're coming straight after you. Yeah. And that's exactly what's been happening. As soon as people say their names, they're like, oh, you guys. Oh. Yeah. So it's a lot different watching it now that I've been on it.
Yeah.
Like you got a whole different appreciation for it. Yeah. Than I mean, I had a respect and appreciation before, but it's totally different now. And different mindset watching it for sure.
Yeah, like the part about like who do you trust and what's being said behind your back. I know for me, watching our season, seeing some stuff that's said behind your backs like that, you just didn't realize was going on. So I'm sure the same thing's happening there too.
Well, everybody that goes on the show probably thinks that they have a good read on people.
Yeah.
And man, so when you watch it back, you're so proven wrong on how much you didn't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I thought you were a good person when I first met you there. So.
Oh, Tom's got jokes today, ladies and gentlemen. He's got jokes today. He's not funny every day.
I guess, we should be careful. Like every time we do a show together, we should make sure we tell people that we are actually very good friends, but we can't.
Oh. Well, I told you that's questionable. You didn't tell me what hotel room you was in. So I'm still on the fence on whether or not that's a true story.
You know me. I would, if I had done that on purpose, I would have been proud of that. That was good, but
yeah.
Purpose. All right. So what's going on in Kentucky there with the coronavirus? How's everybody? Are they believing in it or doubting it or what?
Listen, my old lady thinks everybody's got it, but
Yeah.
there's no confirmed cases that I know of. She did tell me last night that there was one in Tennessee, though,
Yeah.
and it's where people's traveling and they go over to China or whatever, and then it's like the super flu, I reckon. So it's
We got a few cases around where I live. Actually, they just had a report just this morning that a doctor over on White Plains, who's only about 5 minutes from me, has come down with the virus. So it's out there, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
Tom, you're old. That means your immune system is low.
Are you kidding? Can you imagine this? Do you imagine the coronavirus trying to get in this body? So listen now. This morning we had beet juice, ginger juice, cucumbers, amino acids, plus the tequila we had last night. Can you imagine a virus going into that body trying to survive?
This is my attempt to fight it right here.
God. Okay, so just so everybody knows, all right. So one of my missions in life is to get Elaine on more healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, that's you put a long road in front of you is all I know.
That's fine. It doesn't matter how long it takes. We're going to get it done. We are going to get it done.
That's my coffee, though. It's my redneck coffee. I don't drink coffee.
There's so many healthier ways to get your caffeine and coffee going. I'm going to get you a jar of this amino acid powder. It's got caffeine in it. Mix it up with water. You'll be flying off the walls.
I asked you if it tastes like Mountain Dew. If it tastes like Mountain Dew, I'll drink it.
Mountain Dew. All right, I'm serious. We're gonna have like a whole show on healthiness and everything too. And
yeah, maybe you should get Nora to come on. She could talk for hours about health stuff.
Well, we're not listening to that. We're not listening to that. I told you. I mean this in a very good way because she was funny. But I was on the show with her. I was just a few days with her after the track swap. I didn't realize how nutty she was until I watched the show. I was like, oh my God.
Dude, Nora's cool, but she is what she saw. She's a Fruit Loop, you know, totally. and she's just all over the place. Yeah, and it's hilarious. But when you're tired and haven't eaten, it can be a little getting on your nerves a little bit. But Nora's cool though. But she knows all about nutrition and. Dude, like she knows all about that stuff.
Well, you know, the important thing is like her and I talked about nutrition too, and a lot of people have different views on it, right? It doesn't mean somebody's right or wrong. She's definitely got her views on it. I don't totally agree with everything she's saying, but she has an opinion on what she thinks is a good diet. So listen, you know what I wanted to talk to you about too today, and I think Jeff even touched on it, before the show started. There's some players over the history of the game of Survivor that have gotten on the show and people recognize them just by their first name and who they are and their personalities. And you're one of those people, right?
Yeah.
So like I look and I think, probably more than, 95% of the people that have been on the show Survivor, you're who you are and the way you carry yourself and the way you lead life is now something that other people look up to and really respect.
Yeah.
Have you noticed a big change in the way people are treating you and you just in day-to-day life?
Yeah, people's nice to me now. No, I mean, for people that know me, I've always gotten love, but for those that don't, I maybe get a few sideways look because I don't typically dress like most females do. I dress how I feel comfortable, and so it's not been the warmest reception, from time to time. But since the show, it's been nothing but positivity, man. It's like so many people relate to me and not just because of like, maybe they relate to me because I'm gay or whatever, but just because I try to be good people. And I think majority of people are like that. You know what I mean? Like they go through hard times. They try to be a good person. And so they relate to me on all kinds of different levels. And it's been pretty cool. The thing that gets me the most is like when I have like kids tell me I'm their hero and like I Skype with a lot of kids and just talk to them, because I love the children, but stuff like that is like I can't explain it. You know what I mean? Like, and I've been going to schools and doing motivational speaking and stuff now, so it's been pretty cool to actually get to just tell them, man, like it doesn't matter where you come from or who you are, like anything's possible. You just got to get it right in your head that's something you want and just go after it. Don't listen to nobody. You know what I mean? So that's been.
I think that's one of the things we have a lot of fun. And for me, it's the same thing, talking, especially kids, talking to kids and saying, you're going to have dreams and goals, and don't let anybody stand in your way. Like, you don't have to get approval from everybody else to have your dreams and goals. It doesn't matter. Like for me, it doesn't matter if I was the oldest player out in Survivor, it doesn't matter if somebody's the shortest or what they are. Don't be laughing when we talk about.
You are older, damn it, buddy. I'll just say it.
Older than dirt.
You're old. You could have been host of the show. You're older than Jeff. Jeff could have been competing.
Could have done a better job too. Actually, he didn't even show up for the first 3 days, so actually, I could have done a better job. You got to show up every day.
Yeah, he was on vacation for the first 3 for sure.
So, when you talk about how people will give you show you more love now? Do you think people before judged you? They just didn't know you. They looked at you and formed an opinion of you.
Yeah, everybody gets that. You know what I mean? And because I'm a butcher lesbian, you know what I mean? I kind of just I like t-shirts and hats and shorts and blue jeans. It's not necessarily like other people's style choices. You know what I mean? I never said I had style. I just wear what I like, But yeah, I've gotten, especially when I was younger, though, it's not so bad when you're older, because you get set in your ways and you're like, I don't give a damn what people think. But when you're younger, it's like, man, that can be some rough times. Because if you went back 20 years ago, I look exactly the same, maybe a little skinnier, but I wore a ball cap. I had t-shirt, you know what I mean? Like it.
And were you aware at that age that, okay, so this is me. I'm making a decision. This is how I'm going to live my life. It's how I'm going to look. Obviously must have become aware, if you weren't initially aware, of how people were going to react to that. Right. Yeah.
No, I just didn't care. It's like, I am who I am. And I got picked on. People gave me crap, and I didn't have I was a loner a lot. You know what I mean? So I put on this tough ass facade of ain't nobody mess with me, but I didn't have a lot of friends, you know what I mean? And it made me a stronger person because of it. But in the moment, you know what I mean? There was times when I can remember that was hurtful, and it didn't feel good to be rolling solo. But I just stuck to my guns and kept being who I am. Cause I started thinking of it as I'm a great person. And I'm super funny. I'm a great friend, and it's their loss, bro. If they don't want to hang out with me, that's on them.
Right. I guess, and what I admire for that, you've got to have that certain personality, even though it was tough to fight that. I'm sure there's lots of kids and older people too that don't have that strength, right? So they're dealing with the same issues maybe you have or dealt with, or other issues. But it really gets to them. And I mean, I hate to say it like this, but I mean, to go to the extreme, even people with suicides, they don't have the strength that you do to handle it. So I think that's why for you to be who you are and have the chance to go on TV so other people can see that. I'm sure there's so many kids out there that you've helped, not just kids, adults too, that you've helped to say, like you said, I want to be like Elaine, right? I want to have. But I think it's important too for other people to be more aware, when they're around, out in the world. One of the big things I try to tell people is, if you're really a strong person, you don't push other people down, right? You push them, you pull them up with you. So that's where it doesn't matter if you really know the person that well, even if I think it's important, even if you're just walking down the street or just randomly meet somebody, even though they're not your responsibility, if they're going through something, for all of us, but especially for people like you and I that have been out in public a little bit more, to go to that person and kind of put their arm around them and say, listen, let's go. It's okay. You're going to be all right. I think it's pretty important.
No, that's how I live my life. Right. It's I will never not be nice to somebody or not be cool with somebody or not try to help somebody. Even when people, family, for example, sometimes you got family that want to take advantage or not so nice to you. And I still treat them how I would, even if they were nice to me. You know what I mean? I still do me, because I'm not going to let somebody's behavior or how they act towards me affect how I am. And the only time that happens is if I lose my temper. And it takes a lot for me to lose my temper these days. When I was younger, I wasn't the case. I had a chip on my shoulder. But, nowadays it's I let a lot slide. And so you can't let other people affect you in the sense where you lose yourself and don't always, for me, I'm always kind and I always give. And so
I think that's important, right? if somebody's like, as that example, a family member is not treating you properly, you're not being nice to them just for their sake. You're doing it for your sake as well, right? Because you're going to live your life a certain way. And I think that's important for people to remember that, it's just because somebody else does something, don't let them change who you are. Don't let them, break your code that you're going to live by, right?
Exactly. And my girlfriend says, why are you doing that? They're doing this or they're, and I was like, it doesn't matter. It's how I feel. It's how I want to treat people. And, everything in life is a choice. My grandpa used to say, you're right where you are because of you. It doesn't matter what the situation is. You made choices to put yourself there, good or bad.
Yep.
And it's kind of the same thing. Like people can treat you a certain way and, you have a choice on how you respond to that. And so it's you can choose to be yourself, or you can choose to allow them to change and affect who you are and be somebody different. And I just choose to be me, man. I just choose to.
But I'm with you though. I think when I was younger, I don't think I thought that way at all, right?
Oh, no. I throw this up and say, you want to smoke?
You want that bucket can of biscuits?
You looking at me, and then it was on. You know what I mean? But
I was terrible. When I was younger, I was awful. Like,
I've seen the videos on you throwing down in the NHL there, Tom. I seen the elbows you be throwing. I seen that you had a little bit of anger in you, son.
Well, I had that thing in me too that I'm not letting anybody push me around. That's on and off the ice. You're insulting me, you're being rude to me, and I'm gonna let that happen. Like I was at the gym probably about a week ago and working out at one of the stations, and this big guy comes over there and starts it's one of those places where there's kind of two halves to this machine. And I was kind of using both, but it really wasn't at the time. He walked up and just kind of barged in and started using it. And like the old me, I stood there for a second. I said, okay, let's think this through. So you can have a confrontation here right now. It isn't going to end well. Or you can say, you know what? It's a big gym. I'm moving on. So I just moved on. It was still the part of me was like, that pride, you're like, I'm going to push me around. But
that's part of it that comes with age, though, is right. It's you literally like. I don't know why you see the broader picture when you get older, and you can't see it for the life of you when you're younger at all.
Isn't that true? What is that? Yeah,
I don't know, hormones or something. I have no idea.
But it really is the truth, though. Right? I mean, I think maybe you go through stuff like even like the stuff like big and small. Like I think like going on Survivor. Like I think you and I both had our way of living our life anyways, but it kind of reinforced it, right? That it doesn't matter who you are, whether you're a farm girl from Kentucky or a 60-year-old, beaten down old hockey player. If you want to go on Survivor, go do it, right? So that's that kind of mentality.
Yeah, it's I just think when you're young, you puff your chest out, you feel like you have something to prove, and if people's being mean to you, you want to lash out, and or you just don't know how to handle it. Like I talk to kids. And I try to tell them the same thing I live by is like, man, don't let nobody affect you and don't let nobody change your own personal working self-image. You know what I mean? Because that can happen. You can feel a certain way about yourself and then walk in a crowded room or something and it changes because of people's perception of you. And over the years, I've stopped doing that. And so my working self it stays the same now. I don't let people affect my thoughts of myself at all. And when I went on the island, they would ask me, and there's like, well, what have you learned about yourself? And this and this. And I was like, yo, I just learned and I reconfirmed everything I already knew about myself.
Cool.
Like I'm a good person. I make mistakes. We all make mistakes out there. I make mistakes. I mess up, but I'm human. And like, I'm kind and I'm compassionate. And I'm not a shady person, and that's what you need to do to win $1 million. And I told him, I was like, next time I'm gonna be a villain. I'm gonna be a villain. That's what Jeff told me. He's like, Elaine, you can't. He's like, you wouldn't be able to. I was like, I'm gonna give it one hell of a try.
Yeah. Well, I remember like the night I got voted off, he said to me, there was Chris Medine and I, it was one of the three of us was getting voted off, and he asked all three of us, if you ever begged for anything. And I'm sitting there, and I think he'd asked Christian Dean first. He was going to me last, and I'm sitting there thinking, nah. He asked me if I'd ever beg. Nah, not a chance. This is who I am.
Well, he knew the answer. He knew your personality type. It is what it is. I mean, I didn't when I left. I didn't beg. I pointed out facts.
Yeah.
I told him Tommy was winning the game. Dean was a goat. Dan was a goat. Nora was a goat. I told Lauren and Nora, I mean, Lauren and Janet that Nora was taking their spot. They were going home. They just wasn't listening to what I had to say.
Yeah.
And it is what it is, you know.
You know what I like what you had to say there too, about not changing who you are no matter what somebody else does too. And I think it's important because I think there's a fine line too. Like if somebody's doing something to you, I think it's important that you stick up for yourself. But it's it's not in a way like maybe you and I have done in the past where you're younger, right? Where you kind of lose your mind and do something you regret. It's more, okay, just calmly. If somebody's doing something to you, if it's something physically, if they're hitting you or whatever, and you're a kid, it's important to learn to say, listen, I'm not going to be treated that way. Please don't do that again. Now, if they continue to do it, then you maybe have to say, listen, I'm serious. If you keep this up, there's going to be a problem here. But I think by that way of doing it, for people out there that listen, it's important that you still maintain who you are. Because again, I think it's really important. Don't let people push you around. I mean, if you've got something that's important in your life, or somebody's doing something to somebody you love or care about, it's important that you stand up and stop it from happening. So I think that's important too. But like you said, it's how you do it, right?
Yeah, like for example, on the island, like there were times when I told Kirsten, I was like, "Yo, don't take that. Don't take that. Talk to you. Don't sit there and take that. Stand up for yourself. Say something back."
Yeah.
And she did. She did eventually, but like it's like I'm a firm believer in treating people how they treat you.
Yeah.
And I'm a believer in don't let other people affect how you feel about yourself. But I'm also a firm believer in, you know what I mean? You stand up for yourself. Don't let nobody push you around and treat you a certain type of way. Like, and yeah, you can do that without violence. You know what I mean? You can do that without raising your hand and striking somebody. You can do that. And for kids, it's different though. They might not be able to understand that they don't need to bring the smoke. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I know. God, bring the smoke.
Yeah.
But I think like part of it is that it's kind of the way you lead your life too. I guess like you said, as you've got older, we've both gotten older, we've done more stuff. I think we have more confidence in ourselves now about just acknowledging, okay, this is who I am. I don't have to apologize to anybody for who I am. I don't have to ask permission. Everybody's different. Everybody has good qualities and bad qualities. And I think that part of it is tough for younger kids now too, especially with social media, right? Because on Facebook and Instagram, it's all these great pictures of great things. Those things are happening, but there's a lot of other things happening on Earth are great too. So it's, for young kids, it's that belief. I think it's like it's doing things too. Like I said, to me, it's a big thing to have dreams and goals and things that you're after. You don't have to be dreaming to be a professional athlete or whatever. It's just maybe your dream and goal is just to be the best friend you can be, partner you can be or whatever. So I think once you get to that point too, where you're feeling really comfortable with yourself, and it's much easier to stand up and say, this is just the way I am, just like you did, so.
When I went to the schools in Ohio and I talked to kids there, I incorporated part of my message was, I used Kobe Bryant as an example. It's like, man, he was one of the greatest basketball players to ever live. And he could have just chose to be that. You know what I mean? He could have just chose to be the great, go in the Hall of Fame and ride the wave of being fantastic. But what he chose to do is he wanted to inspire and encourage others to become great themselves in whatever it is they're doing. Yep. And he done that, like teaching the kids and trying to show the kids and trying to get them to see it in themselves. Yep. And so whenever I was speaking to the kids, my thing is like, I'm an original. There's only one me out there. Thank God.
Okay. Thank God.
There's only one me out there. Yeah. And what a fantastic thing to be an original. You know what I mean? Like and all these billions of people, like I stand out amongst the crowd. And like, so I use it as don't you want to be somebody that one leaves a legacy like Kobe Bryant that like inspires others, because that's what a legacy is you leave something behind that people want to follow. So it's like, don't you want to be like that? Don't you want to be an original and be you? Because I try to tell my girlfriend's kid all the time, Hunter. He's always mimicking stuff that he sees online and Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok and this, that, and the other. I always try to tell them, I was like, man, what, don't you want to be an original and create things yourself and be the first in something? Like, I'm not, I've never been one to follow the pack. And so I kind of add that in with little spice of Elaine across my.
And you know what? You're right. I think it's hard for kids though too, right, to stand out. Like it's like I can remember when I was younger too. It's like, being like even that like having for me it was a dream of playing in the National Hockey League. So all the other kids like on a Friday night would be going to a party or whatever. I'd be going to a practice. So like you talk about being a little bit of a loner, it was the same for me sometimes. And I've heard a number of people that have spoken about leadership and everything and that follow your dreams and goals. And if you're really going to want to be, like you just touched on, if you want to be successful at something, you got to be willing to go it alone sometimes because not everybody else is going to have that same dream or the same drive that you've got to get where you want to get. So that is the tough thing that kids understand. It's okay. It's all right to be alone, right?
Yeah. Well, with bullying, like bullying's like an epidemic that's in the schools now.
Yeah.
If you're a popular kid, it's actually those are the kids that I'm talking to more, because if you're one of the top dogs in the school, if you're like the head basketball, head cheerleader, whatever, you have the ability. It's the same thing as in society. Kobe Bryant was top run of the NBA. Well, if you think of a school on a smaller level, if you're looking at the athletes, the popular kids in school, like they can do the same thing in that small society.
Yeah.
So those are the kids that I actually try to talk to, because if they view themselves as somebody as being one of the top, then maybe you can influence them to create an atmosphere of change in their school. Yeah. And I believe you can. It's just you got to figure out a way to get to them and talk to them and tell them it's like, yo, you're top dog at the school. You're a senior in high school, basketball player, whatever. Everybody looks up to you. You have the ability to like turn to freshmen and sophomores and like put your arm around them, bro, and like lead them and do things like that. And that's leaving a legacy.
And I think that is important. That's why like people like you and I and others who have done things, that have accomplished things to go out and talk to them. It's harder when it's just the parents or the teacher, because those kids are learning or hearing from those people all the time. And it's kind of like they tune out sometimes. So now there's different voice who's done something different comes in and says that. What's interesting too about Kobe, and I mean, this is a total compliment to him. I mean, I'm sure you're aware he made some mistakes earlier in his life. Like he was perfect. And I think that's a great example for kids and all people that, listen, you made mistakes. Doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It means you did something. You can be a great person. You made a mistake. You learn from it. In Kobe's case, he tried to do, not just because of the mistakes he made, because he wanted to do good things. You kind of leave the mistake behind and say, okay, I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm not happy that I acted that way, but now I'm going to lead a better life going forward. Right. And that's what he did.
Exactly. And that's all part of it. When I talk to the kids, I tell them, I was like, I didn't win. I failed at my goal. Like I didn't win. I failed. But we're all human. We all make mistakes, and you're not going to get it right every single time. Right. Failing is part of the process. Right. And you have to be okay with like, all right, that didn't work out, but I'm not giving up. You have to be okay. You have to do that. But go back to what you said about Kobe. Like, yeah, like he messed up. Everybody does, but he course correct as far as I'm concerned. And I'm a firm believer in people having second, third, fourth, fifth chances. I never give up on people.
Yeah.
And if we did, like, it would be a lonely world because there wouldn't be a whole lot of people left.
Right. So, the only thing I'd add to, and I love it that you said that you never give up on people, but there's a certain point though too. You can't let them drag you down, right? I mean, right.
Yeah. There's a fine line. There's a fine line.
Yeah,
and people's got to be willing to help themselves first and foremost, because you're never going to help anybody that's not willing to do some kind of work.
Yeah.
They're not. Now, they might lean on you or whatever, but as long as they're doing some kind of work, then they're willing to change. But if you come across people who just aren't willing to change, that are just stuck in their ways, then you have to cut ties, because people will pull you down with them, because misery loves company. Yeah. And so you have to decide what your tolerance is for those kind, and where you stand on how far you're going to, you know what I mean? You have to decide that. It's a personal decision. You know what I mean? For me, I kind of give a few extra, you know what I mean? Because I I want people to do well in life, and I want people to have the best and feel good about themselves, and so I just go the extra mile and try to help people get there. It's just sometimes there's no hope. It's just I always have a little.
Is that why you is that why you bailed on me and out there, Survivor, went over to the other tribe and left me all by myself?
You was my guy. I told you on day one, I was like, let's just ride this out to the end because you were my people, and that was it. I didn't bail. I didn't bail on anybody. I mean, I did vote Aaron and Missy or Missy out, but she was coming after me. So it's like,
well, by that time, you did what you had to do. There's no question there.
I don't feel like that was like me a betrayal on my part. I just feel like I beat her to the punch.
Yeah. No, I actually love that. It just kind of goes in line with what we're talking about with this stuff. I thought like you and I getting to be friends, like we said to each other, okay, we're sticking by each other. And we both did that. Like I look back at the game when Ronnie and Aaron were going after you and we stuck together and said, no, we're not letting that happen. We got Ronnie out. Like to me, that was pretty important, right? It's kind of showed, okay, we said we were going to stick by each other. We did that.
Well, I think once you got mad at me because I went hunting for an idol and didn't tell you, and then you pulled a Karishma. You're like, Elaine's dead to me.
No, it did not. Never happened.
When Aaron came to me and he wanted to vote Dean out and not tell you, and I was like, I am not doing anything without Tom. I think that moment you were like, that's my girl. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's my girl because I proved my allegiance to you. You know.
Yeah, you're right. Like, especially in that game. And it's kind of like life a little bit too. There's always that wondering like, okay, so I stuck my neck out for her, you know, and I'm trusting her, but now once you showed me that you're sticking your neck out for me, it was a two-way street. Right. So I think that's life too. Right. I mean,
you're blindside your ass. I wasn't having it. That wasn't happening. Not on my watch, Tom. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
It goes along with everything that we're talking. It's like, you know, it's like you either stick to what you say you're going to do in life, or you become a wishy-washy person that can't be trusted, you know, back and forth, whatever. And I just.
And, you know, and we don't need to name names, but I think there's players on our season that were those wishy-washy people, right? And maybe I'm not saying that that's who they were as people. That's the game they played. And I think it ultimately hurt them too, right? That other people just they didn't trust them, didn't know where they were going.
Yeah, Survivor's a weird game because you can be wishy-washy and get to the end and people respect you. Yeah. Or you can be wishy-washy, get to the end and they don't. It all depends on the people that you're with. Yeah. And that's the amazing part and the strange part about it. Yeah. You know, but a lot of that correlates to life. But you know, a lot of those people, they're not going to come lie like dogs like they did on the island in real life. You know, maybe they tell little half truths, but you know what I mean? Like it's not the same. Yeah. And that's another thing is like, you know, people online, they take it for what it is as they see it. And so outside the game, they're like, you're evil. I hate you. Yeah. I hope you die. And it's like, it's a TV show. You know.
I know. I had people telling me I should have been meaner. And I'm thinking, why? Nobody's ever said that to me before that I should have been meaner. It's the other way around.
Elbow Tom Laidlaw. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're running out of time here, but that was a great talk. We're going to do more of this, everybody. What we're shooting for is on Thursday around 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning. But again, the whole world revolves around Elaine. So whenever she's available is how we kind of do it. So just be prepared.
I was having problems.
Yeah.
I was having problems with that snooze button.
Yeah, we're going to get that. That's another thing. We're going to start doing a whole show sometimes on health and fitness and everything like that. And Elaine's
you can just do a podcast for the year on me alone. I party rock all night. I eat all the wrong foods. I go to the gym like sporadically. You know, I eat fried whatever all the time. Like, dude, you could do a whole.
Okay. So you're just remember now, you are an inspiration to people, the young kids.
I know.
So
I'm trying to do better.
Right. So we're going to have a video of the before, and then we're going to have a process. And there's no time limit on this process. And we're going to get you from before to after to become a different person for your health and everything. We don't want to change who you are as a person. It's just your healthy habits. So we're going to call it the Healthy Lives, Healthy Elaine. We're going to call it.
Yeah. I don't think they sell a healthy biscuit. I just don't think.
No, you know what? We'll make a healthy biscuit. We'll make our own.
To it, like A healthy biscuit? Like that just doesn't even sound right, Tom.
We'll get it done. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Get out of here.
All right, bye.